Matt Duffield from mattduffieldtrading.com, and tonight we're going to do a hot penny stock recap on symbol AXPW and CANF. Those were the two hot plays of the day that I was watching very closely. Before we get started, I do want to remind you the video is for educational purposes only. I'm not a registered investment advisor, and penny stock trading can be very risky, so you do need to make your own trading decisions. Okay, so AXPW, I've been watching this thing, nearly every tick for the past 2 weeks. It's been the hottest stock for me anyway. And that's kind of how I like to trade. I like to find one or two stocks for the day and really zone into them. So if you follow along on my blog, or if you saw my blog post last night, I made comparisons on the 10-minute chart of AXPW versus the 60-minute chart of AXVL, and the comparisons were, uncanny. They're just so similar, and these things do happen. Patterns do repeat. That doesn't mean they're going to continue, in that direction or continue to mirror each other forever. But it does give you a good guide or a map to try to make decisions, and it did help me with my trade yesterday. And I made $2,000 and nearly timed the bottom and the top in AXPW, and that was within pennies. And I don't aspire to do that every time. I rarely get both sides that right. Normally I time the bottom but not the top, or vice versa. So yesterday was just a great day for me. And going into today, I was focused on AXPW. What I did want to see was an open right around yesterday's close or just below. But I was looking for strength in the morning and maybe some kind of bullish engulfing pattern on the 5-minute chart. And as you can see, in the first 30 minutes of trading, this was really weak. Low volume, just trending lower. And I thought it could do a spike like this up to 280. That's kind of what happens when it can't break below support there at 260. But I'm always fearful if you see enough of these penny stocks that run, eventually they die down and they just flatline. They just trade sideways and they're dead. And considering I'm subject to the pattern day trade rule where you can only make 3 day trades a week, I don't want to blow a day trade on buying near support only to find out the stock is dead. So I tend to look for strength. And on this initial push higher, I missed it, which is completely fine based on the strategy I was using. And I was judging the pullback and how strong the stock remained, and it was obviously weak, as you can see there. It sold off into the afternoon, touched a low of 255 before bouncing, and it did pick up strength towards the end of the day. And I wanted to buy in here at 270, and even on this pullback here at 277. But the problem is, I try to make this clear. Considering news is due out any day, obviously this should have had news out any day this week, and everyone feels it's late at this point. Today being the 4th day past the deadline for that deal. So I don't want to hold this overnight and risk a potential 50% downside if news comes out and the deal failed. On the flip side, yes, it can very well double if news comes out that the company receives the $10 million contract. I just don't like to take that risk. I'd rather trade the intraday moves. But if that news wasn't pending, I would have bought. This would have been a good play to buy in, like I said here, in the late day strength for a potential gap play. Because if you zoom out a little bit, go a couple days back, I'm still expecting this to pick back up and at least come back to the 310, 320 range. And it might even exceed that. And I very well think that's going to happen tomorrow based on the past 2 days of trading. But what I do want to see is a solid break above 290. And that'll be a buy trigger for me. In after hours trading, I think this stock closed at 293, but who knows, by morning this could be back at 282 for the open, or it could gap higher. I'm just here to say I think tomorrow this sees at least 310, which is 10% over today's closing price. So I'm hoping that I get lucky and I'm able to buy in right away in the morning at 282 and try to ride this higher. Even on the daily chart, if you want to go out, that far, it's bullish. You have a bullish engulfing candlestick just 4 days ago, healthy consolidation here, and then it's showing signs of wanting to continue upward again. I don't know that this is going to be like another super spike situation. We'll have to see how it goes. But I just really think the 310, 320 level is going to be the magnet. And like I mentioned before, it's very similar to that chart of AVXL from nearly 2 months ago. And in that case, price did come back up and it actually reached the highs. So this could see 340 over the next day or two. And this is all if news doesn't come out in the morning, but the elusive news has not come out yet, so who knows. Anyway, this is very bullish. I will be looking to day trade this tomorrow. I was taking a breather today, which is sometimes smart. I made 2,000 yesterday, 12% gain. And sometimes when you make that money or you make that awesome trade, you're just ready to come back and do it again. Sometimes it's not the smartest thing to do. And I'm glad I held off today because this was a little choppy and not really worth my time there. And the other stock I want to talk about tonight is CANF. I missed out on a great opportunity here, obviously. They had news this morning saying they're receiving FDA fast track approval for, I think it's one of their drugs to help with, I don't know, liver cancer, liver failure, something like that. Shows how much I pay attention to the news sometimes. But I do know fast track designation should be a big deal. And I was really surprised that this only gapped from $1.76 to $2.30. It just, I was wondering why it didn't gap. I thought this should have gapped up to like $3. There's like 10 million shares outstanding, very low float. The problem is with that news release, there weren't any numbers, but I'm sure people in this industry can speculate what kind of revenue this could mean for the company. So with the gap up today, it did gap to an open of $2.36. And I posted a tweet soon after. I said, be careful buying at this opening gap because there is very strong resistance. And, I didn't even have to go that far. Right in here. See that there in the 230s? A solid band from May through June. Pretty much 2 months of resistance. And like I said, I posted a tweet this morning, be careful. And sure enough, price came down to the 2 teens, 220s, tested that 240 range again, came back down, tested it again. It was relentless. It didn't want to give up. And pretty much by lunchtime, or around the 1 o'clock hour, it finally broke above 250. And I thought, man, maybe there is something to this. I just couldn't get myself to buy into it. Like I said, I'm under that pattern day trade rule, and this thing is kind of grinded higher. I really prefer the stocks that shoot up 10 to 20% on a breakout, like it should have done here, but failed. Again, here's a bull flag, if you can see that, intraday on the 5-minute chart. So right here, about 250, I thought about buying again because this bull flag suggested 280 as a price target. And just 20 minutes later, hit a high of 288. So that started the whole feeling like, oh, I've already missed the rally. I've missed it. It's too late. And it continued to grind higher, spiked very strongly in the last 5 minutes to 324. And this has continued very strongly in after hours. I think it's in the 390s now. So I really, really missed a good opportunity. And I even thought this was a possibility because once you clear that 240, 230, 240 resistance, you're not looking at a whole lot of resistance from the 3. I think there is some resistance around 4. Yeah, I mean, you've got some in the 3s. So let's say this is after hours trading at $4. if it can break above 4 in morning trading, hopefully not pre-market, but in the first 15 minutes of trading, who knows? This could do a little super spike up to $5. So I will be watching this in the morning. I'll probably be too scared to trade it, but if it opens around 4 and within the first 15 minutes of trading, sets up one of those situations where it opens at 4, trades down a little bit, and then takes out the morning high within, say, 15 minutes of trading, that could be a great opportunity for a 10-20% gain in the first 30 minutes or an hour of trading. So that's going to be my angle for this. I'm not sure if I'll get that lucky. For all I know, this could open at $5. I mean, this is definitely the hottest play right now. So that's what I'm looking at, guys. I wish you the best of luck tomorrow.